In our previous video, we created a new Django app called Posts, and we also created directories to serve out. In this video, we're going to edit our model and we're going to create a forms file as well. So to get started, under the Posts directory, double-click on the models.py file to open it up. We can just delete all the boilerplate that's here. And first of all, from django.utils, we want to import time zone, because we're going to be doing some work with time and date. So we'll create a new class called Post, and base that on a standard model. And as our docstring says, this is going to be a definition of a single blog post. So let's give some thought as to what a blog post needs. Well, first of all, it needs a title. So we'll create a title field. This will be a character field. We'll give it a maximum length of 200. That should be long enough for any title. A blog post also needs content. So this will be a text field. Now, we also want to see when our blog post was created. So we're going to create a created date field. And this is a date and time field. And we're going to give that the attribute of auto now add equals true, which means that as soon as the record is created, then the current date and time will be added into that field. Of course, our created date could be very different to our published date. So we want another one for published date. This starts off blank. Nulls are allowed. But its default value is going to be the current time, as we get from the time zone. Let's pull that back a little bit. Okay. We also want to be able to record the number of views that our blog post has. So let's create that. This is going to be an integer field, and its default value is going to be 0, because when we start, we have no views. We want our user to be able to add tags so that we can group blog posts together. So again, we'll create a character field. We'll give this a maximum length of 30, and it's okay for this to be blank at the beginning as well, and nulls are also allowed. And we also said that we want the user to be able to upload an image. So let's create an image field. Now for this attribute, we give it upload to equals img. Now this corresponds to the directory that we created under media, our img directory. So that's where these two link in. Okay, we're also going to give that blank equals true and null equals true. So that pretty much completes our model. Just do a final bit of tidying up at the end here. We're going to return self.title. Okay, so that's a simple model for a blog post. Now what we want to do is use the Django forms library. So we're going to create a file called forms.py and open that up. And let's first of all import the Django forms library. So from Django import forms. And then we also need our post class from our models file, so we'll import that. There we go. Okay. And we're going to create a blog post form using the Django forms library. We're going to create a model form here. And the model that we're using is post. So we don't need the brackets. Thank you, Cloud9, for adding them. And the fields that we're going to have on our form, well, what are user editable fields on a blog post? Well, title, the content, of course, the published date, and our image. So we'll put in, and also our tags. Now we don't have created date here, and we don't have views because these are not user editable fields. We only want on our form fields that the user can actually edit. Okay, so that completes our form. Now, just to make sure that our posts are accessible through the admin backend, Let's open up the admin.py file here. We'll delete all the boilerplate that's underneath. We don't need that. And again, from our models, we want to import our post class. Yet again, we don't need the brackets. And we're going to just register our post class with our admin site. So let's go ahead and do that. Great. So that's everything completed here. So now all we need to do then is return to our command prompt. So let's go back to our terminal window. And because we're using image field, we need a library called Pillow. So let's go ahead and install that. Otherwise our migrations would fail. And now that Pillow is installed, that's a requirement for our project. So let's go ahead and create a new requirements.txt file using pip freeze and redirect that. Okay, so now we should be all right to go ahead and make our migrations. We'll do that using manage.py and the make migrations command. That's fine. And to actually migrate this and update our database, let's do manage.py again and migrate. Wonderful. So now our database is updated. We've created our models, we've created our forms. In our next video, we'll start putting all of this together and creating some views.